And before we start, I want to thank our Board of Education for supporting the process of finding a new leader for Marya Yates. I want to thank all of the Marya Yates family and staff. Come on now, give yourselves a round of applause. I also want to thank specifically Ms. Canizzo, Mr. Williams, who isn't here, Ms. Henry, Mr. Williams right on time, and Ms. Martin. We're doing a fantastic job of being the voice for Marya Yates. They did a great job. They stayed 2 very late nights. We had a great very talented group of people who came through who are interested in becoming the next principal of Marya Yates. And we had a good time. We asked really pertinent questions, very difficult questions. And we narrowed it down to, we had 3 candidates. We narrowed it down to our 2 who are here. We have Dr. Henderson and we have Dr. Hood. And before Mr. Butler gets started, I want to say this. This was pretty grueling. They will admit that. But we want everyone to understand that this was such an important decision. So it started off with, I think we had about 22 people who applied. We narrowed it down to 8. We brought 8 people in. We interviewed them. Mrs. Fields and I went to visit their school environments to see them in their element, and then we narrowed it down even further. What I will say about this process is that we really let our staff, our teachers lead it. And they were the ones who told us who to bring. Okay? And so that was really, so you all did a really good job of picking the right people to represent you. And so we are here today. I left out Monday. They had to come to the district office and they had a set of tasks that they had to fill out. Looking at your data and then thinking about the next set of things that they would do, what would be their priorities, what would be their goals to lead your school. And so this has been a pretty thorough, as they said, this is a very thorough process. And now I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Butler. He has a series of questions and they will be given time to answer the questions. And then we want to make sure that we have time at the end to give you an opportunity for a little bit of meet and greet. And then the process will be over. Okay? All right, Mr. Butler.
Thank you again to our wonderful teaching staff. And we talk about collaboration. You all have been the epitome of that, so thank you again for your time today. All right, so without further ado, we're going to get started. So there is a total of 6 questions. Each of you will get 2 minutes to answer. When that 2 minutes is up, I will stop you and then we'll go to the next candidate. Any questions? All right, perfect. So Dr. Hood, we're going to start with you.
Really? Okay.
All right, so number 1, how would you describe yourself as a leader?
I'm an involved leader. I get a lot of my reflection and direction that I give people from my own experiences. So I always talk from a base of knowing and experience, and I give the advice that I wish someone would give me if I was in that type of situation. I'm very collaborative. My door is always open. I answer emails and text messages all night long. My husband thinks I don't have a life, but I feel that when people reach out, you need to be supportive. I'm an involved person. I go to everything. If someone asks me to go to a workshop or to read a book that they're reading, I do that also because I feel that I need to experience the same things that others are, because then I'm not able to give direction. So I'm an involved person. I call myself the nosy principal, not because I'm in the room to find something, but I want you to know that I'm supportive and I want kids to know me also. So I've always been a nosy principal. I'm just popping all the way. And that's why I have to stay late, because I have to do my own work later.
Thank you. Dr. Henderson?
For sure. I'd say I am a nurturing, collaborative, and a supportive leader, nurturing because the field of education requires us to be very calm, supportive, and so making sure that needs are met. I have an open door policy, so making sure that there are opportunities for voice, collaborative, because this is ongoing learning. I don't have all of the answers, and I will never come to any place or space saying that I don't need anybody to collaborate with, but I'm very collaborative, making sure that we share collective voice and collective work, and responsive also, so very responsive. I do like work-life balance, but I will make sure that, when needs arise, that I am proactive and reactive in the way that is necessary to get the work done. So nurturing, collaborative, and visible. So students are the clients, and so I like to participate in classroom spaces, get to know students, play games with them, you'll see me at recess. So that is the nature of my leadership.
Thank you. Next question, Dr. Henderson, or Dr. Hood. What is your philosophy on teacher evaluations? Do you see value with evaluations beyond them being required by district and state? If so, what is the value?
I see evaluations as an opportunity to have conversations by visiting classrooms and having a model that you are aspiring to be. Then you can go back and have a conversation, offer support. And the end is a conversation between the principal and the teacher. Also with me offering suggestions. I'm very thorough with evaluations, giving summatives, writing comments, and I always put it in the words of consider or maybe possibly this may help, and then to come back and then to talk about it.
So going back to that supportive trait, I believe that a strong instructional leader is a coach. And so when I think about teacher evaluation, I'm also thinking about it from the lens of coaching you, ensuring that you are providing with the best support to do your absolute best for students. I like to start with friendly visits, so they are non-evaluative, so I get to know who you are in the classroom, being able to provide safe feedback before we meet together and think about what your instructional goals are as an educator in your classroom space, and then making sense of how to align what your goals are to the school's overarching goals. So there is value in evaluation, but I think there's more value in coaching too, coaching through that evaluation so that there's always a conversation and an opportunity for growth.
Thank you. Dr. Hood, this question. How do you plan to build positive relationships with the school staff, students, and parents?
I like to take the opportunity to meet people, have meet and greets and things like that. I also like to visit the classroom. In my current building, I visit every classroom every morning to welcome the teachers and also the students. I write notes, personal notes regarding different things that I see that are very positive. My students also get notes from me. I'm just that type of person where I like to be involved and for people to know the person that I am. And that when I am talking to you, I'm talking to you from my heart. I'm not as an administrator actually trying to dictate what you do. I'm trying to build a rapport so that we can have an open communication.
So I think that is also a strength of my leadership. I'm very relational. I'm similar to Dr. Hood. Those one-on-one meet and greets at the beginning of the year are very instrumental in learning who you are serving. I think that it doesn't stop there. So keeping that open door policy, being able to share with families and staff opportunities to continue to get to know each other. So when I think about domain 2, which is the Danielson metric, it talks about how do you create a strong classroom environment. As a leader, I'm always thinking about how do I create a strong school environment. What are ways that I'm demonstrating respect and rapport, getting to know you all? How am I ensuring that the look and feel also supports our relationship and our ongoing ways to interact? And then I also think about those family meetings or staff meetings where you get to know who I am. So I always start with SEL, opportunities for you all to also get to our ways, and I believe in ensuring that I establish and nurture those relationships across the school community.
Next question. What types of activities have you done in the past to help bring parents into the school to be an active part in their students' education?
I have parent academies that I do at least 2 or 3 times a year, where the parents come in during the day and visit the classroom, and they participate in the learning objective that the teacher is presenting to the student. I also have parent workshops that are led by my student teacher bodies based on if we see a weakness. So like if we have a weakness in a certain grade for math, we'll set up a series of workshops that the parents can come back with those also. And typically, as most buildings do, I do have a very active PFC group where the parents come and we meet. I do principal coffee hours, twice every other month, where parents can bring concerns to talk about different things. I review what we're doing in the school, our safety drills and all those type of things, anything that they really want to know. And then I also put out a newsletter to communicate with parents, and that goes that long way.
All right, so I started with newsletter. I am crafty, so making sure that you get all of the information in a very proactive, clear, and creative way. Monthly meetings, and so in the past, the monthly meetings with families were geared towards what family needs were during that time, during the pandemic. So a lot of needs would rise around how do I support my student who is struggling at home, how do I support my student with technology, and so those monthly meeting focus would be around what families said that they needed, and if it couldn't be provided directly from the school, ensuring that my partnerships will be able to provide support and services that families needed. We also had curriculum nights, so my previous context, it was an art school, and so we had meeting nights where we would do arts-based opportunities for families to engage in with their students, art showcases, and so whatever our focus or whatever the goals are, ensuring that families are supported with how they can support their scholar at home. And then I think what was most important with my family engagement were bi-weekly meetings with parent leaders, ensuring that we were on the same page about how that they can support in moving the school's goals in the mission and vision of the school as well.
How do you plan to provide support for teachers to improve student outcomes?
First of all, I would have to look at the data and see where the need is, and then look for workshops, presenters to come in to build that skill set, to look within the team to see if someone is proficient or excellent in those areas to support each other. Also, we would work together to build a foundation where everyone looks for the things that they're good in and share those type of instructional practices. One thing that I found that was very beneficial to my team is we listed the areas that we needed to grow on, and as a team, we all worked on the same thing and moved on to the next one. So we were able to say we accomplished something, and now we need to move on, and that worked well. And that also drove our MTSS period, and before that, our academic blocks.
So very similar to Dr. Hood, that data analysis is very important. I think that comes not only from the school's benchmark test data, but I also think about just observational data. When I walk through into classrooms, or what I see in the hallways, like what are components of data that I want to bring forward as areas of need, and then to be able to also just root cause analysis. So when I think about looking at the data, I cannot assume that these are the issues. And so when you do root cause analysis, I'm sitting with stakeholders, I'm sitting with teachers to figure out the why. What is the best strategy to move forward? Then I'm looking at capacity building. So going back to that evaluation or coaching tool, like how do we ensure that we're building capacity to support movement and progress? And then setting some goals. And so in order to ensure that we meet the school's overarching goals, we have to make sure that we set our own personal goals and collective goals within departments and grade levels. And so making sure that those goals and our work always aligned to what we're trying to accomplish as a school base. So I think that will be how I would improve.
Thank you. We are concerned about developing a nurturing, challenging, and disciplined environment at Yates. What specific things do you like to see happen at our school in order for that to occur?
I'd like to establish 3 basic rules that are broad enough to cover everything. I like the OPDS type, respect, responsibility, and safety. And then once there's a concern, then you reflect back to those 3 items, and then the student talks through the situation. Not so much that it's a disciplinary step, but it's a reflective step where you learn from your mistake and then you move forward. I'm not a person that would give you consequences constantly, but for severe things, definitely. But I think as adults, as teachers, leaders, we are supposed to nurture children and teach them how to make good decisions moving forward. Pretty much that's it.
So when I think about providing a nurturing, challenging, and disciplined environment, I think about restorative practices. And so I think about the 2-pronged parts of restorative. The proactive part, which is based in SEL instruction, so ensuring that students have a full understanding of how to contribute positively to their school environment, how to learn from one another, how to respect one another. But then on the flip side is when I've done harm to my school environment or to a peer, how do I come back from that? And what skills do I learn and put in play when I have done such? And so it is nurturing. There are consequences in restorative practices. So some folks don't believe, like, well, they didn't really learn their lesson, but there is learning. You have to be intentional about students walking away from situations with the lesson in mind. I harmed, this is what I had to do to make it right, and here's how I'm going to make sure that I get support or advocate for myself if this situation arises again. So I believe wholeheartedly in restorative practices and social emotional learning.
Thank you. That's all of our questions. Do we have any questions from the audience? Now's your chance.
I have a quick question, or a couple of quick questions. I don't need that.
I'm a teacher.
I personally would like to know, are you both principals right now?
So I can get started. I'm currently not, I'm a lead coach. I was a principal prior to my, to this school year. I moved out of the principal role for family needs, but my capacity is for school leadership. During this year, I had the opportunity to really develop greater capacity in the instructional core, which I think is extremely important to principal's work. And so that is what I've been doing.
Okay, and what grade level?
K-8. No, right now I'm serving high school, but as a school leader, K-8.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, I'm currently a principal. I'm in Burbank School District 111. Prior to that, I was in School District 149. I've done all grade levels from kindergarten, preschool, all the way through middle school. The building that I'm in at this time is the kindergarten through 5th grade building.
Have you always been at the administrative level, or were you classroom teachers there?
I've been a classroom teacher. I taught 7th grade, and I've also taught 5th grade. When I was a 5th grade teacher, that's when I got my type 75. And in the district, I was in 175, and then I became an assistant principal. I did 3 years there as an assistant, and then I moved to Burbank 111 as a principal. And so I've been at 111 for 20 years as a principal. I've done 3 buildings there already.
Yes, I taught English for 10 years at the high school level prior to transitioning into at Abbott, where I served as a K-8 assistant principal. I've also been an assistant principal at the high school level and then a principal K-8.
core values are student-centered and innovation. How would you incorporate that into our district and work with the other schools to make it equitable across the district and working with the leadership team to create that innovation, especially in the K through 5?
So when I think about district-wide procedures and strategies, I always think about collective understanding. So making sure as a district, we all understand what student-centered looks like. We understand how to support development of student-centered activities and opportunities within a classroom, and then being able to align professional learning district-wide, and so that we are seeing the same type of learning and practices and getting feedback. And I would hope that the district is doing walkthroughs in schools and you'll be able to provide feedback and support continuity between the schools. So that's student-centered and even innovation, right? So what does it mean to be an innovative school? Once we had some sense-making and some collaboration around that, being able to align district-wide practices that we are engaging with learning around at the school level, and then hopefully showcasing our best work when the district comes to see us.
So I would like to know where you are currently, to have a conversation and to see what you've done and what's worked, and after looking at that, seeing what things need to be different. I'm a thought process person. I don't like to jump into decisions without knowing background. So I would ask questions, I would look at what you've done, and then I would give my feedback and find out what you think about my ideas. I'm very creative. I really see problems and I look for answers as soon as I see them. So I would work with the team to see things that are doable, that are not, too difficult, and then take the baby steps to build where we want to go, to set that goal.
Any other questions? You can make your final statements. You can address the staff, how anything that you can think of. You can readdress some of the questions that we went over. So,
I would just like to say, I love being around kids. I am a strong leader because I set goals, I set examples, and I stand by them. I treat children so that they are not threatened with talking to me or coming to my office. I feel that building rapport with parents are very, very important. I did my dissertation on parent involvement. I make it a practice to call parents for good things as well as negative things. When I open the school year, I ask my teachers to reach out in a positive manner to the parents, because then they have a better understanding of the person you are. So when there's a difficult conversation, you're able to have that. I think that schools should be welcoming to the kids, to their families, and to those that come in. And it is a reflection of everyone who is in that school, including myself. And I just work hard at what I do because my name is on it. So I thank you for offering me the opportunity to come and to see your school and to speak with all of you. Like I said, I am a kids principal. I have all, superintendent's endorsement and all this other stuff. But honestly, I like being around kids, and I know that. And so I appreciate that time that you all give me.
I will leave with just sharing a piece of my why. Like, why am I here? Why is it important for me to ensure that education and students who look like me have the best and greatest access to whatever they want. I had such a strong educational experience. I had great teachers. I had awesome administrators. And I think it is extremely important that scholars get to see the possibilities of who they can be in their teachers, in their administrators. And so my why, my purpose for doing this work is to continue to open up the opportunities for Black and brown students to be able to do their absolute best to achieve whatever they desire. And then also parenting a scholar who is an exceptional scholar who has unique needs, being able to be a voice and sometimes are forgotten and left behind. That is my why, and so I'm hoping that I get to do similar work in partnership with folks who are excited about doing this work and doing this work so that they are providing access for young scholars to do their absolute best. So I too thank you for even taking a chance on me and inviting me to this phase of the process, and I will be so honored to serve as your principal at Yates.
All right, thank you so much for your comments, and we're excited for the future. And so now we have a few moments for a meet and greet, so you can come and just say hello to our two candidates.
I don't bite.
Well, we're all the teachers.
They're all the teachers.
Well, I will honestly tell you guys, I was telling the superintendent that this was an intense interview process. I mean, seriously, to be on the other side of the table, compared to things that I've done and how we run it, it's totally different. Look, I'm sitting in my desk yesterday and they popped up and I was like, oh my gosh, they're really here. I know. I was like, because I told my person, I don't know if they're coming or they're not. And I was like, so it was different. And I would say, I enjoyed it. I feel by talking to other people, getting out, meeting new people, it brings back vitality in life and you're energetic, and things like that. So I appreciate you guys coming in and walking through my school. I appreciate talking to you. When I did the questions, he had to wait a little bit longer. I said, oh, you probably think I'm writing another dissertation. So it's a joy. It is. I like change. I like doing things. Not change jumping around, but I mean change that motivates, where I see that my efforts are being, they're coming to something that needs to be done. I don't like busy work. I like purposeful work. So I appreciate that. I do. I can look around and I can say, oh, okay, once I see the kids, okay, I got it. That's just how I work.
Meet and greet or back to the
Want us to